episode 5. So, finishing episode 4, talking about the logbook at the end, um, actually made me think about hey, um, awesome. Logbook is not the epiphany, but maybe, or I should talk more about like the stuff that we did over the last 3 years to actually give the logbook uh, a chance to work. So what do I mean by give it a chance to work? Because it's not about the logbook per se. This has been used before. It's not about a different setting. It's not a different programming. It's the last 3 years, and especially the last year, has been tremendously intense uh, for me and from my side. Um, Making sure I know what I want to see in the gym. This sounds so obvious, but I mean, you start somewhere and then you just keep piling little blocks of programming and coaches development, etc. Um, and I actually took a lot of time to think about, okay, what is what I truly want to see in the gym. And what I realized it's not necessarily what I want to see in terms of movement and programming and that kind of stuff. Obviously, I want to see like people improving their movements, etc. But first and foremost is I want to be a counterpart of the fast 2019, fast 2020, the fast 21st century. Not in terms of being slow. I wanna teach fast learners. So I want to teach people how to learn um, first, what they want to learn first, how they want to learn, and my tool of application seems to be well a gym, running a gym, coaching, and that kind of stuff. I think there's hundreds of ways how to do this, but for some reason, training found me, or I found training. So this is my tool of expression, my art, so to speak. Um, so coaching and coaching classes is not a very artsy thing per se. Um, if you look from like an outside perspective, this is just giving instructions and making sure people don't kill themselves, etc. Um, so I think the real art in it is never the development, what I call in the horizontal phase, but more in the vertical phase. Vertical means you're either gonna go deeper down some knowledge holes, or you're gonna put the energy into well moving forward and progressing. And I think that is very time intensive. What do you mean by that? I think, oh gosh, it takes a lot of time to think about what do you want to do, and step away from like checking to-do lists. As in, hey, I have to make sure that the cleaning lady is coming. I have to make sure that all the coaches are being set up, all the classes are covered, etc. This takes way more free thinking than I ever thought. So free thinking by I don't know, walking your dog and thinking about nothing, just making sure you can reflect on some stuff, etc. Um, so I've been searching for like better programming or how to train people safer for the last couple of years. Um, but maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's learning or teaching people how to learn first. And I'm not saying everything else will fall in place, but what if you need to create a potential that people and I, or we and the gym, can have the same language and can actually start talking about the same stuff? Yes, we'll use the same words. We'll use the words like squatting and deadlifting, etc., but we don't mean the same thing. Um, and that's been kind of a cool journey over the last couple of months to figure out, okay, how do we need to talk to people so they see the urgency of understanding how to learn, the urgency of moving better, but again, learning needs to be covered first. So the last couple of years have been, well, kind of a roller coaster. Um, but the more we focus, the more I focus on teaching coaches and coaches teaching members, the more it seems to click. And this has a lot to do with figuring out like the details of muscles and squatting, etc. But I would say the same amount is necessary towards the the behavioral part, the learning part, and the stuff that kind of seems to be, well, in the second row, so to speak. So gym owner life, we spend a lot of time hopefully not only talking to coaches but talking with coaches, talking about some stuff, trying to teach them something, talking to members, etc., so they can start figuring out that process, their own process of how to become better. And this is not a obviously not a one size fits all approach for everybody out there, um, but I think becoming better needs to be started at the that process of how does that process looks how does that process look like for me, so I give myself again the chance to become better. um, so I see it more as a the perfect process is already there, but most of it is covered with I'm not saying unnecessary stuff, but let's call it not type A priority stuff. So like the daily business, and we always run out of time, etc. Um, so those stuff needs to be pushed to the side. And learning or movement or learning movement is a good way to start realizing how to become more focused at first. So actually realizing that there is a problem, and most of the time the problem is or lies in ourselves, um, as it was for me. Um, if I'm not happy with the way my gym looks, not from aesthetical standpoint, but from a behavioral standpoint, well, guess um, who should be the bearer of the bad news? A, and B, guess whose fault it is. And not a fault as a bad thing, but like the first one who has to improve is me. So I started that with training more precisely and switching some stuff, and actually figuring out like the real stuff that needs to be covered first, like hard talks with members that always kind of create that weird feeling like they want to train on their own, or they think they're already better at ABCD. Same with coaches. So um, and that kind of switched my mentality from, well, offering jobs, offering memberships, towards giving chances and giving opportunities to train at my gym. And although those words, those semantics seem to not matter, I think they do a lot, because then, I mean, the behavioral change is always first, but the way you phrase stuff, the way you present stuff needs to be figured out really, really precisely. So um, that has been, well, a major part of my own life and training and running a gym over the last couple of months. Um, and I can feel the more precise I become um, about my ideas, so to speak, or my vision of what I want to do, and I'm still not there yet. Um, the calmer I get. So that means all that stress and worrying about stuff literally reduces to, well, obviously a couple of things that you have to do and a couple of things that you want to work on, um, and a couple of things that you really look forward working on. So that's kind of the thought process that's been running through my head in the last, well, year, or since February, March this year. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. See you guys soon.